And good morning, everybody. This is GGFan bringing you the game of the day. It's cloudy and chilly where I live, so I want to heat things up with some RBY OU ladder, your favorite ladder, the greatest ladder in the world, the most competitive ladder in the world. And what a game this is. This game is a real doozy. It reminds me of what a famous New York Yankees catcher once said: it's not over until it's over. So I had that in mind as I played, never gave up, did my best to turn things around. Maybe I secure the comeback, maybe I don't. But I guarantee you this, one thing I will divulge before I start this replay is that you're in for a treat. This game was a lot of fun. So let's get started, let's get into it. So I lead Alakazam. I'm still using RSW. Alakazam is the lead. I get Executor, Lucky Sleep Powder, miss. Wear it down with Sleep Powder, a Seismic Toss. Take the sleep. I'm gonna stay in here and take Psychic, as I'm not entirely sure what the opponent would do. I've got Slowbro in the back in case they go to Tauros. So I stay in, take the Psychic. Now I decide to go into Executor, and I'm going to fish for Explosion. Oh, I thought I would. I'm sorry. That was another game. I put this Executor to sleep. Now I go to Tauros. Not sure that was the best move, but I have Tauros in against Snorlax. I decide to go all in and attack it, get the lucky crit. So Snorlax sets up Reflect. Now I play for the Blizzard crit. Or freeze. I don't get either. Go for a Body Slam crit here. 31%. Snorlax would die to a critical hit Body Slam. Take another Body Slam. Actually, I was kind of surprised. I thought the opponent would use Rest. Instead, they are content with wearing down my Tauros. I need to slow down here. Snorlax is in Blizzard range. It goes down. Opponent goes into Tauros. So I've lost something like 3 or 4 Tauros Dittos in a row. I lose this one as well, but luckily the Hyper Beam misses, and I land my own Hyper Beam. 50%, I do good damage. Now my Tauros goes down, very content with what my Tauros was able to accomplish in this game. Took down the Snorlax, chipped away at Tauros' health, took down half of it. I decided to go to Slowbro, as the opponent's Executor is only at 50% health, so if they do send it in, I can gamble with Amnesia. If they play aggressive, I can paralyze the Tauros. I'm fine with that. Instead, the opponent goes into Zapdos. I paralyze the Zapdos, and I have Rhydon to blank the Thunder Wave. I can switch into Impunity, as Rhydon is a ground type. And I decide to Body Slam here. I did have an inkling that they would send Tauros back in. I did consider using Earthquake, but I go for Body Slam instead. Ultimately, because Tauros being at 50% would not die to Earthquake. And this way, now Tauros will die to Zapdos Thunderbolt. I also have Zapdos on this team. I switch to Slowbro to take the Blizzard. Unfortunately, I get frozen. Now I'm in a bit of a conundrum. I switch to Alakazam. I try to wake up. I don't. Tauros comes back in. I decide to switch into Slowbro. Rhydon, I'm hoping for Hyper Beam, actually. As Alakazam was at 85% health, so I was hoping the opponent would go for Hyper Beam. Instead, they go for Body Slam, which doesn't paralyze me, thankfully. Now Blizzard misses. Of course, Blizzard misses here. I've got Slowbro in. At this point, it's a sacrificial lamb. I can't afford to have anything take Body Slam. So I let Slowbro go. Now I send in Zapdos. I'm just hoping not to get frozen, or I'm hoping to avoid the critical hit Hyper Beam. Tauros goes for Blizzard. and I get frozen again. So that's 2 freezes in a row on the first try. I have no choice but to let Zapdos go. At this point, I'm kind of hoping that Blizzard will freeze me again. I think that I just thought that would have been hilarious. It doesn't. It goes down to Psychic. I'm quite behind. I feel like the game is over. In comes Chansey. Stun Spore misses. Ice Beam does a good chunk of damage. Opponent sends in Executor. I decide to stay in and use Psychic. Can't send in Rhydon. Opponent goes back to Chansey. Not really sure why. Maybe they were anticipating Rhydon to come in. But Chansey comes back in. And now I get to paralyze it. Definitely a misplay on the opponent's side, I feel. Now, in retrospect, it was because this Alakazam does not have Seismic Toss. Rather, it has Reflect. Nonetheless, since Rhydon is slower than Chansey, this is not the line of play I would have made. Even with the Specs drop, Executor goes down to Ice Beam. I send in Alakazam. I'm really hoping to wake up. And now that both Snorlax and Tauros are dead, I have a decent chance of pulling this off. I've already removed 2 sleep turns. The Executor is asleep. Chansey's paralyzed. Zapdos is also paralyzed. And this Alakazam does not have Seismic Toss. So I'm in there. I've got a shot to wake up. Specs drop also helps. And I wake up on the 4th turn. I lose the speed tie, but I do pull off the Thunder Wave. Now it's a game. Everything is paralyzed. Even with Reflect, I feel fairly confident in my chances to win. Avoid the special drop. I go for another Seismic Toss in the hopes that they would get paralyzed. They switch Zapdos back in. I'm okay with this. I go to Rhydon. Take the Drill Peck. Okay, now, the opponent makes a great play here. They anticipate the substitute. They're trying to wake up the Executor, and if the Executor wakes up, the game is probably over. Because I will take sleep. I need Rhydon to secure the sweep at this point. However, I still feel like this was one good read too late. When I had Alakazam out, when the opponent sent in Zapdos, that was when the opponent should have made the read. I feel like if the opponent doubled into Executor when I had Rhydon out, that would have been better. But regardless, the opponent makes a good read. Executor wakes up. Now the game is over. Or Rock Slide can be a critical hit. And that's it. Reflect was the wrong move. You had to hope for the 1-2-56 miss. In case you're not aware, even moves that are 100% accurate, such as Earthquake, can miss 1 out of 256 times due to a programming glitch. There are many of these nuances in Gen 1, which is why it is the best gen. Opponent forfeits, and I win the game. That's it. It's never over until it's over. Even after getting frozen twice, I still managed to win this game. As you can see here, the opponent had a bog standard Big 4 team, Big 4, Alakazam, Zapdos. But I feel like the end was a bit of a misplay with the Chansey. I don't know what that was about. Let me paralyze the Chansey for free. I know this was partially because the Alakazam did not have Seismic Toss, but even so, opponent could have played the endgame a bit better. Nonetheless, this was really close. I got a very lucky Rock Slide crit at the end to escape the jaws of defeat. Never give up. Always play it out. You never know what will happen. This is Gen 1. That's a wrap. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.